Christ received righteousness, resurrection, exaltation, rulership, lordship. Same way, Christ did not receive it just for himself. Just like Adam, he receives it as a representative of the new human race, the believing human race. You and I, the believers, he receives it for you and I.
I come before you today, and there's just one thing that I want to say. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all you've given to me, for all the blessings that I cannot see. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. With a grateful heart, with a song of praise, with an outstretched arm, I will bless your name. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all you've done in my life. You took my darkness and gave me your light. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You took my sin and my shame. You took my sickness and healed all my pain. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. With a grateful heart, with a song of praise, with an outstretched arm, I will bless your name. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
The thing that is occupying Paul's mind the most, dominating his mind the most, the truth that he is thinking about the most as he's writing Ephesians 1 and 2 is that the believer is in Christ. The believer is together with Christ. The believer is joined to Christ. That is why, because Paul is dominated by that in his mind, for him, it is no difficulty to say Christ has resurrection power and the believer also has resurrection. For him, it's no problem. He doesn't see any problem in saying believer has. Why? For him, the believer is in Christ, joined to Christ, together with Christ. It's not like Christ is here, Christ is there, as we think, and the believer is here, No, Paul doesn't think like that, right? He thinks we are very close. So what? Yes, he has the power, but that means I also have the power. That's the way Paul thinks, you see. If you can think like Paul about union with Christ, then you can think like Paul about resurrection power. So today what I'm going to do is talk about union with Christ. Right? The Bible talks about this union with Christ. Just in 2 chapters I show you how many times in Christ comes, in him. They say more than 150 times it comes in the Bible, and there are other ways. Sometimes it says you are in Christ, sometimes it says Christ is in you. Okay? And some places, in 3 passages, in John chapter 6, in John chapter 15, and 1 John 4, it says both you are in Christ and you are Christ is in you. Now, what's the truth? Well, I like to think of it as a fish in water, The fish is inside water, right? But the water is also inside the fish. Fish opens his mouth and water goes, right? You know what I mean? So the fish is there, water is there. Both are inside one another, you can say, right? Fish is living in the water, but water also goes into the fish from time. It's like that. Both are true. Point is, you are so together, joined together, so much in union. That's the point, okay? Now, we're going to look at this union with Christ. The Bible talks about this in many different ways, in many different places, and I want to take it step by step, all right? First, the first way that the Bible talks about it, first way the Bible talks about it is, it says that as we were in Adam, so we are in Christ. Once we were in Adam, now we are in Christ. That's the first step, right? Now, key passage is Romans 5:12 to 21. Adam and Christ, you have to understand, are 2 of the most important people in all of history. Okay? Now, you must understand that when God deals with human beings, he does not deal with them only on an individual basis. He doesn't always deal only with you directly, one-to-one, okay? Sometimes he deals like, but sometimes he deals through representatives. You know the idea of representative? Even the government deals with people through. The government is not calling you and making you sit in Lok Sabha and attend every discussion. No. There is an MP, right, member of parliament, who's elected to represent you in the Lok Sabha. There is an MLA who you have chosen, right, who is representing you in the state assembly. He is there attending the discussion, getting what you need. He's supposed to, right, at least. But that's the idea of representative, right? And, the thing about representative is, you have to notice, when a representative does something, his actions are not just his actions, okay? But it's the actions of the whole group. Take a president, for example, right? When a president goes to another country, he's not just going as himself. No. He's representing, if it's the president of India, he's representing the whole nation of India. He's representing you and me. So when he's somewhere else and when he does something good, that will bring a good name to the entire nation. But if he does something that is bad, it will bring a bad name, not just to him, but to an entire nation. His actions are not just his actions, it is the actions of the whole group. Paul says in Romans 5:12, through one man, sin entered the world. Right? Adam is the one who sinned in the beginning, yes. But you know how God took it? Adam was like your representative. He was the representative of the whole human race. So when he sinned, God took it as though the whole human race sinned. So in God's eyes, everybody became sinners right at that point. Do you know that, first of all? Some people think I became a sinner only after I committed my first sin. Right? And I guarantee you committed your first sin even before you think you did. Right? We think too highly of ourselves. Right? No, you became a sinner even before you were born. That's the teaching of the Bible. When Adam sinned, the whole human race became sinners in the eyes of God. Why? God looks at Adam not just as one person, but as a representative of the whole human race. Okay? Same thing with Jesus. When Jesus did not sin, Jesus obeyed, right? When Jesus obeyed, God does not look at it as just one man obeying. He looks at it as though it is every believer obeying, right? The new humanity obeying. You look at Romans 5:19, for as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, right? One man, that is Adam. Adam's disobedience, many were made, notice that. One man, many, okay? One man's disobedience made many sinners, so also by one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. The action of one man has an effect on many because he's a representative. Adam's disobedience made everybody sinners. Christ's obedience, where did Christ obey? Throughout his life he obeyed. Right? In the Garden of Gethsemane he obeyed. By going to the cross he gave the ultimate obedience, submitting to the will of God. God does not look at that as just Christ obeying. He looks at that as every single believer who will ever live as obeying in Christ. Okay? And so what he does is, because Christ, one man obeyed, he makes everybody as righteous. Today you and I are righteous in the sight of God. Why? Not because we obeyed, but because Christ obeyed. That obedience is counted as our obedience. Just as we were in Adam, now we are in Christ. In that sense, we are in Christ. We are united to Christ. In the same way, when a representative receives something, what he receives is not just for him, but for the whole group. What a representative receives is not for him, it's for the whole group. It's for him and when Adam received, what did Adam receive? Adam received death. In the day that you eat of that tree, you shall surely die. Did Adam die? Yes, he died spiritually, and then later he died physically. But Adam only did not receive death. The whole human race received death. What did Christ receive? Well, Christ received life. When he rose again from the dead, what did he receive? Life, right? A new kind of life. Christ received righteousness, resurrection, exaltation, rulership, lordship. Same way, Christ did not receive it just for himself. Just like Adam, he receives it as a representative of the new human race, the believing human race. You and I, the believers, he receives it for you and I. MPs all over the world may not use the money fully for the group they represent, but Christ surely does. You know what I mean? Because we have in the world things don't work so perfectly, we think this in Christ is not so good, No, this is perfect. It works perfectly here, you see. So Christ received life, but we also received life. Christ received resurrection power, right? But guess what? He received it as a representative. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? He received it not just for himself, he received it for him, but he represents the whole group of believers. Everybody gets it, that's what it means, right? We are in Christ. Christ is our representative. Let me give you the example of cricket. This is a little easier to understand because we're so cricket crazy, We like it when India plays. We watch with great interest. I don't know about you, but I do. And I know people who watch it with a lot of very great interest. Now imagine you're watching an important game and India wins, right? And you got so excited and somebody comes comes and they say, they haven't watched the game, imagine, right? Your friend comes and they also are very interested in cricket, but they have not been able to watch the game. So they come and they ask you eagerly, what happened to the match? What do you say? You say, we won, right? What do you say? We won. Well, let me ask you, you never won, first of all. You never played, neither did you win. Some 11 guys played on the field. They only played, they only suffered, and they only tried, and they only won. How can you say we won as though you played? See? But it feels like we won, right? Why does it feel like, we won? Even though we never played, it feels like we have won. We have a share in the victory. Why? Yes, only 11 people played on the field, but guess what? They played under the name of India, right? What's written on their clothing, t-shirt? India. What color is it? Blue. What cap are they wearing? The one with that seal. Right? It says India. It says India. Everywhere it says India. If you look at them, what does it show? They're playing for? Who do they represent? India. You see, because they represent India, that victory is not just for those 11 players. It is for the whole country of India. See? And when, you remember like the World Cup, India won 2011, where India won the World Cup. You remember people are celebrating out on the streets. And great jubilation. And I think when the captain was given the trophy in the award ceremony, and when he was lifting it up, if you watch all the players around him, they are jumping as though they only got the trophy and they are lifting it up. You can understand the players, but the people in the street are jumping as though they only got the trophy and they are lifting it up. Captain only got it. Captain only is lifting it. But they also feel that joy. You say, why? We feel a certain level of unity or union between the captain and us. When he's lifting it, we feel like we are lifting it. He represents all Indians, not just the team, but all Indians, and he's lifting it up for us. Who's our captain? The Bible calls Jesus the captain of our souls, right? Jesus is our captain. And when he received the trophy, what did he receive? He received life. He received righteousness. He received blessing, right? He received power. When he lifts it up and he rose again from the dead and he goes all the way to the top, it's not just for him, it's for us. It's our victory, my friend. He represents every single believer. The power that he has belongs to us by representation, by representational union. Now I can see that it makes you a little happy, but not too happy, shall we say, right? Because, this is true, and the Bible talks about union this way, but the Bible doesn't stop, okay? The Bible doesn't say you are in Christ in the way you were in Adam, that's all. No, that's only the beginning. The Bible talks about the union between Christ and believer as far more closer and far more deeper than just a union like we had with Adam. Let me illustrate that with this example itself. Now, there's a small problem in the example I gave you, When the captain lifts up the trophy, I'm talking about when Dhoni lifted up the trophy, in the World Cup, all the people celebrated in the streets, They celebrated maybe through the night. They were just, beating and doing everything and just, maybe all kinds of celebration. But guess what? What did they really receive? Think about it. Okay? Think about the people who celebrated out in the streets. What did they actually receive? They received a sense of joy and gladness and real thrill and all kinds of things like that. But what did they really receive? They celebrated all night, but did they go to work the next morning? Yes. Why? Because they got a share in the trophy maybe, they got a share in the victory maybe, but they didn't get a share in paycheck. Right? They can say the trophy that you lifted is also my trophy, the victory that you won is also our victory, but they can't say the paycheck that you got is our, right? See, this type of union takes you only so far. You can celebrate with him because you are one as Indians, but you can't get everything he gets, right? Can't. In fact, think about it. When I'm saying Jesus is our captain, you cannot, cricket only works to a certain extent, right? Cricket is a team game, and a captain cannot win by himself, right? Everybody has to cooperate. Captain needs help of others. But when I say Jesus won it for us and Jesus lifted the trophy, what I mean is Jesus won it by himself, okay? When I say Jesus is did you help Jesus win the victory for you? No. He won it single-handedly by himself. He defeated the devil by himself. He overcame sin, overcame temptation. By himself, he submitted. If he got any help, it's from outside, from God the Father and God the Spirit. You see, by himself, without our help, the captain did it all by himself. Jesus, the captain. Now, even in, cricket, if you take a team, all 11 players don't play equally well. There are 1 or 2 players that are very good, very excellent, right? Now, if you notice, when they won the World Cup, the board of cricket, BCCI, would have given every player a certain amount of money, right? Rewards, right? You won the World Cup, now here's the rewards. But, I think they would have given certain star performers, certain very excellent players more, right? Even if they did not give, they would have gotten more somehow. After the World Cup, they would have become very famous. They would have gotten advertisement revenue, right? Who wants to make an advertisement with the player that doesn't play very well? Nobody. They want to go for the star player, right? So you make the advertisement with him. He gets a lot of money. What I'm trying to say is, if you take in our example, Jesus is the star player, right? Think like that. Now come back to cricket. In cricket, the star player's income and benefits, nobody can share. Nobody can. No Indian can share, right? Not even his own team member can share. You may be in the Indian team, but you will not have a share in what the star player. You will get a certain amount. It's like that even in the corporate world. If they give a project to a team, and the team has a team leader, and the project is successful, everybody gets a certain reward, right? Pay or whatever. But the team leader will always get more, right? You cannot say, I want equal share. No, you cannot say. It doesn't work like that, right? Team leader performed the most, therefore he gets the most. So it's like that, Nobody, no Indian, not even a team member can go and say to, we are one with you, so give us your share. Nobody can say that. Or maybe if you are in his extended family, or maybe if you are his parents, he'll think of what all his parents did and maybe he'll do something good for them. But even the parents cannot royally say everything you earned is ours, give it to us, it belongs to us. The parents cannot say that. Parents will not also say that. But you know what? Nobody can royally claim what he has, but there is one person who can claim. There is one person who can claim like nobody else can claim. There's one person in the world who can claim the full share of the captain or the star player, his wife now. The wife may not know cricket, may not even like cricket, may be useless at cricket, I don't know. I'm just talking in general terms, okay? But guess what? When he comes into the door with the paycheck, who's going to take the paycheck? The wife. The paycheck belongs to the wife. It doesn't belong. Nobody can rightfully claim that give it to me. Everything you have is. The wife has the right to claim the entire share of the. Some people are wondering, what is he saying? This is trouble, I don't like where this is going. What do you mean the wife can take everything, in some families, unfortunately, husband and wife, they're earning. They both don't reveal how much they earn to each other. There are families like that. It's very sad. Is that how marriage is supposed to be? Is that how married life is supposed to work? I don't think so, right? Married life I don't think God meant it for it to work like that. Right? Some husbands, they don't want to reveal the whole salary to the wife. They just said, why do you need to know that? What do you need? Every day you tell me what you need, I'll give you. Whatever you need, be satisfied with that. No, marriage relationship is such that it says everything I have is yours. Everything you have is, that's the kind of relationship marriage relationship is. See? Now you may say, well, I don't want to live by that relationship. This kind of way I don't want to. Well, if you don't want to live, you will at least die that way. Let me explain. When you die, in the court, they will take your entire possessions and give it to who? Your wife or your husband. First, the share must go to who? Right? If you don't write a will, everything you have goes to the wife. What the court is trying to say is, when you lived itself, you should have lived like this. At least let us help you out. When you die properly, we'll take it and give it to. Maybe I'm in trouble. Maybe I've offended certain people, or I'm sorry if I have. That's not my point to offend. I just want to say the marriage relationship is a very special relationship. Okay. Among all human relationships, there is no relationship like the marriage relationship. Even the government recognizes that. Even the courts recognize that, right? And so, it's a relationship where everything you have belongs to the other person, and vice versa. And why I'm bringing this up is not just to bring up a good example or something like that. No. not just to make you laugh. No, the Bible describes the union between the believer and Christ in terms of the union between a husband and wife.
Blessing and honor, glory and power, into the ancient of days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the ancient of days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne in worship. You be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O ancient of days. Blessing and honor, glory and power, be to the ancient of days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the ancient of days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne in worship. You be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne in worship. You be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O ancient of days. Just clap our hands. The Bible says his kingdom will reign over all the earth forever and ever. Let's sing that now. Your kingdom shall reign over all the earth. Sing to the ancient of days.